Hello and welcome to CT Lock here with Magisk. We've got exciting Anubis coming up. You're going to talk us through some of the ideologies around CT side. And I'm interested to see the CT side of Anubis because it feels like the A bomb side can be a bit of a problem for a lot of teams. So you can talk us through and show us how to play it properly. So if you could show us how to like stop a rush, because I always die to a rush on A, like every time. So like what were the kind of motions you would go through to stop a rush?
First of all, you just pray.
You pray? Yeah, all right, that's the first step.
I think the first step, obviously, when you start the round, it obviously depends a little bit on your spawn, but if you have good spawns, you will come and you just pre-Molotov in the beginning of the round, because a lot of teams, they like to do this flashbang from up here, like where they come up here and then they flash like this. So what happens when you do the Molotov is that they have to do a smoke to go through it, not take too much damage. And then when you are here, you can kind of dodge the flash, so you come and you do the Molotov like this. You dodge the flash, you hit the flash, now they go through the smoke and you try and get the one kill and you go back. So that's kind of like the typical way to start the round as a CT player. But the more experience and more knowledge of the enemies, you can kind of like develop it into like different ways. So, I mean, for me, I like to do this Molotov as a starter because it's gonna put some more pressure on the team.
Because around the back.
Because you can force him to be out in the open here, and then you can kind of like, what I like to do is that I link it up with a flashbang like this from a teammate, because now I can run out. The guy who's maybe holding over here at the door is gonna get blind. I can run like this, I can try and kill him, and then I can go back. So it's kind of like, you know, but at the beginning, for the rush, you definitely molly, you dodge the flash, you wait for the smoke, and then you try and get a kill.
So it seems like as the A player, you're going to use a lot of utility early. So what if you're playing against a team that you want to try and delay your util, you want to try and hold on to the utility? What are some of the positions you would play if you want to hold on to util?
I mean, this kind of comes in with the philosophy as a team, because obviously if your team knows that the AWP never starts A, they like to just come and just like sneak and take duels, which obviously is very bad for the anchor player. So you kind of need the team to put the AWP here sometimes to kind of like gamble in some way with your util, where you're just like coming and jiggling and just like hoping that they're not like taking space. But a lot of teams obviously is playing 2-1-2, like a lot with the AWP here and also with the rifle here. So a lot of the time people, they will start using util before going into this area, like coming here and do the smoke and, you know, doing the Molotov. And when this happens, that's kind of where you're like, okay, now I will start using my util. So now you're trading util all the time, and then you do a smoke and you just like jump through and block them. But that is why a lot of mid players, they start mid, you know, they start like this, and then they will just either go A or go B and leave mid.
Okay.
And that's why you have two sets of util on A, because otherwise you will just run out of util.
Otherwise you get burnt out,
Yeah, exactly. And then you're gonna be left alone on A with no util, and let's be honest, if people execute A, it is very difficult. So you need that utility to try and block them in this area here. Because if they get past this area here, it becomes a very open round for the T's.
Now we see a lot of teams where they're desperate, they got an eco or a tech 9 half buy, they'll often go for a rush. So what would be some of the positional changes you would go through if you're going up against the rush versus a full buy?
I think obviously you would still come here and do the Molotov, like here in this area. Because then at least you have the information when they're gonna distinguish the Molotov. And that gives you time to like come here and do like HE, and then kind of like run to safety while maybe you're calling for the flash, like people are coming here flashing, like, because when you're running up to safety, they're coming in this area and they will get blind. And then just playing around this area and protecting this like area, because A might be difficult to hold against rushes, but it is also, as long as you have like some control, it is also doable to retake it. Also because as a mid player, if you hear A rush, you can like really fast come behind and drop down water and help your teammate like this, trying to kill the people who's doing util. So I think playing a bit more safe, doing a Molotov, like also because it's eco, they might not have like Molotov for default, and also here, so they will do maybe either like one of them, and then you can like try and position around that.
Well, the incendiary is a lot weaker now on CT side. How do you think that's going to affect the A player? Because you're obviously waiting on that second player coming in from middle to camera, but how are you going to deal with that now if they rush into you? You have like 2 seconds left, right? So how's that going to affect your position, do you think?
I mean, honestly, against rushes, I don't think it's going to be a big problem, because at the end of the day, they will distinguish the Molotov anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
So if it's 2 seconds less, it doesn't really like do anything differently for me. But I think it's more mid-round. It's gonna change stuff because, you know, as an example, people, they like to come here and they like to do like a util like this where they come and like retake banana. But now that the Molotov is a little bit less good, you can see it's gonna create space for the T's to have like either be here or be potentially here. But obviously you want them to be here because now you can at least clear it with a good duel coming here and trying to kill them.
Yeah.
So I think it's more mid-round that this Molotov is gonna change a lot. But yeah, that's...
Yeah, speaking of mid-round, you know, we sometimes see an A player get aggressive, they push out, try and start a flank, but it feels like this one of the scariest bomb sites to try and push out of because you got one choke point, there could be someone lurking. So what kind of information do you need to have to sort of activate a flank out of A?
I mean, obviously, it depends on the team as well, but a lot of the times if you see the A lurk in action, that kind of gives you an idea that that can give you like a hint that, okay, this might still be a gamble, but it's a bigger chance to push, if that makes sense. So if I see the A lurk doing a flash assist or getting a kill or an assist like that, that can kind of like give me the idea that, okay, I might have a timing now. And that's where you just sometimes have to do a gamble.
Okay.
But honestly, I think also it depends on the whole information on the map that you have. I mean, sometimes on this map, you just have to take a gamble. Yeah. Because let's say there's a smoke here and then it starts fading and now you're like sneaking out. Like there is a lot of angles like this and also up here and up here, and even people are playing like sometimes here and then just peeking on timing and stuff like that. So it is difficult, but I think it's difficult for the A player, but it's also difficult for the B player to push. And especially in middle, like it's also very difficult to push like here because
do you think that's why we have more of a T-sided affair here on Anubis, is the fact that CTs don't get as much space to get aggressive and take info?
I think the biggest problem is that there's no good places to push like a CT. Like there is not one position like pushing banana, whatever we call it here. It's not really nice to push, but also for mid, it's not really nice because you have angle here, angles here, angles playing down here, holding your feet. Like a lot of people also like as an A-lurk, if they execute B, they just sit and watch the feet like this. They're just like watching, oh, one guy coming behind, guys. They don't even take the shot, they just take the information. So it's never really nice to push anywhere. And also out here, like people can hide here, they can hide over here. They potentially even could be over here. And like there's so many angles that you need to clear. So it's like, it's not really a good map for CTs to push, and the meta right now in general is that you need information for the CTs to actually be able to play like heavy on the bomb site that people are coming. So that what makes this map very difficult for the CTs, that it's just very difficult getting information on the map.
Well, if you've been struggling at home with CT sides on Anubis, hopefully Magisk has just shown you a few ways to get better. And thank you very much for sharing your wisdom here on this map. This has been CT Lock at IEM Dallas, and we've had Magisk on it. Thank you very much.